So let's start at the beginning. The magic card. This is the magician. This is getting in touch with the magic inside of you. And it doesn't have to be that deep. It's just trusting and believing in your own power, your own efforts, your own abilities. The infinity sign is here too. So it does look like you've come to some kind of resolution. This looks like a life pattern that you've been either able to resolve, change, or let go completely. So it does look like you're coming more into your certainty, having a little bit more confidence in the roads that you choose. And it does look like you're thinking it out a little bit more before you take this first step into the unknown. But it does look like those changes from the last couple of months have really propelled you into a little bit more into your greatness, giving you some certainty and some your own personal power by speaking your truth with love and kindness. The Emperor here, this crosses you. This usually stands for an exalted being, someone who has very good advice. So this may be some of the legacy advice that you've gotten from childhood that it feels like you thought that was the right road, but even though the rest of your family have followed this path, that may not be the right path for you. Even though it is exalted and things were done with love and integrity and the awareness of others, but it does look like that legacy road may not be the road for you, and that is okay. So what is above you, it does look like there's a little bit of focus, an unwanted focus on you. This could be a miscommunication. This is feeling work related. And for those of you that are looking for a job, you may have misconstrued something, or some communication was kind of jumbled up. But it does look like it's righting itself. But it does feel like unwanted attention, miscommunication, a little bit of a jumble that you may have to step back from. That doesn't look like you caused anything, but you're getting kind of swooped up in some either misinformation or a project that feels uncomfortable to you. So don't be afraid to speak the truth, speak your truth, or just back out of it and see if when it's closer to resolution. But it doesn't look like anything that you have created, so it doesn't look like anything you have to solve. So it may just mean stepping back from a situation, let others duke it out, but this doesn't feel like it is that important, even though the focus on it feels like it is. But it feels like a fallacy that this is not as important as it's being presented. So what is in the past is the star, and the star card is like new beginnings, new ideas, taking things from the inside, putting them to the outside. With the star card too, it can mean really over extenuating yourself and giving and not paying attention to you. This gal is pouring out all this effort, this energy, this love, and there's nothing coming back to her. She's got one little foot in the pond here. So make sure that you do some self-care, that you don't just give it all away, that you don't overbook. But it does look like your activities are starting to really amp up. So make sure to schedule in some time, some self-care time for you, Gemini, and that you don't get too bogged down with have-tos. So create that wonderful time for you to just clear your head and get out in nature as well. But it does look like a lot of the seeds that you planted in the months of the past are like all of a sudden coming up, one by one right now. And it is in the past position, so this is something that you're quite aware of. It's just learning the juggle, but make sure and schedule you in there as well. But the star is really wonderful. It's when those great ideas are coming to the physical plane. And there's a lot of them, it looks like. Justice card is here. This is an 11 as well. This is the upper echelon, shall we say, the higher cards. and you have a number of them. So these are, you're on the right path of doing things. It looks like you are cleaning up some things that you have long forgotten. This could be bills that you neglected or didn't have the chance to clean up. You didn't have the finances, but it looks like you're going back and you're cleaning up things and making them right again. This can be as easy as paying for a parking ticket or something, and it could be as heavy as cleaning up some legal thing that will be a negative if you let it go further. It can also mean justice coming to you when someone has wronged you, that the balance is now coming back to you. So it could be in the form of idle gossip that was not kind. So it does look like someone or a situation will make amends to you, Gemini, and that you will find the balance again through this justice. That is happening right now. Could be a raise if you were passed over on a raise. But it is righting a wrong of some kind, and can be legal, but just could be interpersonal as well. The Empress is here. This is a 3. She is also of the higher hierarchy card. She's right next to the Emperor, so it does look like taking the high road is imperative for you, even if all around you fail. Take the high road, follow your intuition, follow the god or goddess of your heart. The Empress can also stand for pregnancy. It can stand for nurturing something, creating something. It doesn't have to be a zygote. It can be a garden. It can be an idea. It can be a wildest dreams that you're putting some energy and effort to and watching it grow. So the garden is ripe right now for things growing, and that means on a physical level or a spiritual level. So whatever you have put into, what time and energy you have put into resolving something or creating something, it looks like it's about to take off. So those of you who sprinkled some energy into maybe starting your own business or retiring, but it's a big shift, it's a big change, and it's something that you're having to take a chance on. Now is the time to do it. But the Empress, for those of you that are looking to expand your family, she is a wonderful indication that the field is ripe to create that baby in your life. Could mean someone, even one of your children, creating a baby or a new life. But the Empress really stands for nurturing an idea and watching it grow. So it could be just about anything that you've been putting your energy into. And for those of you who do not want to create children, just use your birth control, plant a garden, refocus that energy on something else that will grow. I'm also feeling animals in here as well. So Gemini, that may be acquiring a new animal, pregnancy with an animal, something like that. But yeah, it's planting that seed and watching it grow. So what is at the basis of all this is really having some alone time. But it does look like this is kind of the hiding alone time. This is the 4 of Pentacles. But it does look like you've had to extricate yourself from either situations or peers of some kind. But I'm also feeling that you have kind of alienated yourself a little bit, Gemini. Are you feeling a little lonely? Has some of your friends either left or relocated? Could even have passed over into the light. But it does feel like you are feeling a little lonely and a little isolated. So only you can change that, Gemini. I encourage you to gather your thoughts and jump out into the world, because right now everything is really ready to be fruitful for you. So put down those fears. Again, I know it's a continuation of those fears, but you've been really looking at those fears and jumping right through them. So I encourage you to continue doing that. You may need to take a little time to collect your thoughts, or, get rid of the crazy life for a minute, but please don't isolate yourself. You have great wisdom and great laughter to share. So I encourage you to get out in the world and do that. The Knight of Swords, the Knight can be very cutting. Knights are very brave. Sometimes they're a little misguided, but be careful of your words. This is feeling like it is kind of on the line here, of the little bit of tumultuous stuff that's happening. So be careful of your words. Don't hold them in until they come out forcefully or negatively. It also can mean the Knight of Swords, you may have to just stand up for yourself in a situation that is increasingly uncomfortable for you. So you may just have to speak your truth. Please do it with love and kindness. Don't hold off to explode. The swords can be very biting, kind of double-edged, slashing type of feeling. But it may take some bravery to speak your truth a little earlier than you're ready to. But don't be afraid. The challenge is not one that you haven't dealt with before. And now that you're in this kind of magic space, I think you can deliver that message quite clear with love and kindness. The next is the Seven of Wands. This is kind of a continuation. It is in the fear space. So this is a fear of theft, a fear of, being looked down upon, not being taken for granted, things like this. But this is, and it can be an actual fear of, your house being broken into, your car being broken into. It mostly stands for the fear. Usually it doesn't manifest into the physical plane. But just in case, Gemini, make sure you lock your car at night, lock your doors, take what precautions that you can, and then just let it go. Living in that fear is not going to make anything change. But you can take some precautions to avoid theft, gossip, things like that. All right, the culmination card is a 4. So you're in the middle of processing. 4s, they're a little farther than 3s. They're not quite to 5s. I use a lot of numerology in this, symbols, as well as the direct meaning of the tarot cards. But 4 can be a little bit of a challenge, and looks like this may have interrupted your sleep patterns. You may be sleeping too much, not enough. Not enough. I'm also feeling some stomach issues may be coming because of the lack of sleep or the stress that's kind of building up on you. Take things one at a time. There's one thing here. It looks like it's been resolved. So just instead of looking at the big picture, it gets way, way overwhelming. Just pick one thing and do what you can to complete the resolution in that. This window is lighting up for me. It does feel like the light at the end of the tunnel isn't a train type of thing, that there is hope and that you are on the right path. Even though it's a little challenging right now, as you resolve things, it'll lighten up a little bit more and continue with this magic space where you're feeling more confident, your choices, more confident in the people around you and the situations. So, but this does look like a situational thing, and you are learning not to take it all in and try to deal with everything. One at a time, just one thing, and resolve it. But it does look like your sleeping and eating patterns, your basic patterns, are being disrupted a little bit by stress. So do what you can to relieve some of that. I would encourage you to embrace doing some physical work, moving that body around a little bit, Gemini. I know you live in the head, and really validating the body, whether it's going to the gym, whether it's walking around the block after dinner, running, dancing, singing. Embrace some physical things so you can relieve some of the stress out of the mental. I know you guys live in your head a little bit too much. So revalidate the body, so it will balance the mind, body, spirit a little bit. It does look like you're coming out of the cave a little bit and that you're starting to socialize a little bit more. You have a couple of 4s here. So it does look like you're finding your balance within all the tumultuous stuff. But you're going to be socializing a little bit more in July. So start to accept those invitations. It does look like you may be hearing from some people from the past, either from your childhood, that you find great pleasure in. Could be a family reunion of some kind, or just high school reunion, but getting together with old friends and people that you trust and you can be absolutely yourself around. So it's not a work related thing. So it's more of a social thing. The 8 of Wands, this is one of my favorite cards. It's when ideas are shooting down from the heavens. It's also when you're releasing things from your awareness that no longer work for you, habits, situations, jobs, people. It's about really upgrading. It's releasing the things that no longer work for you and filling them in with new and exciting things, and kind of taking those ideas from your head and putting them into the physical plane. You have a couple of those here, so that may be your main focus this month, is taking those great ideas and putting them into action, Gemini. So that is your reading for the month of July. I'm going to throw a couple of these past life. I think these are past life or angel cards. Yeah, past life cards. Another beautiful selection by Doreen Virtue. She has wonderful cards, divination cards, and I like to use these little cards. They're short, sweet, but they kind of bring a little clarity, or at least they validate the journey. So let's see. Here is imprisonment or slavery. So I'm feeling with this card that you have kind of created your own imprisonment and slavery by kind of overthinking. So step out of your mind for a minute. Step out of that. I don't want to call it a prison, but you know, it can be. It can be. So step out of that. Start doing more physical things. It'll probably aid to your sleeping a little bit more if you do a little more physical things. And don't be a prisoner of your own thoughts, please. Let's see what else is there. Egypt. So I'm feeling legacy things. I'm feeling like letting go of some ancient legacy habits and things that may have worked for your foremothers and your forefathers may not work for you. So allow yourself to open yourself up to new ideas, new possibilities, and new travels.